Greetings everyone, welcome to another retro edition of Sonic Universe, and we are doing issue 26, the Silver Saga Part 2. Now, to recap, Silver went to a dark version of Angel Island, where it is ruled by Enerjak, and he is currently under siege by Metallic Chaotix. So let's see how our favorite Psychic Hedgehog is doing, shall we? Silver is still struggling against these Metallic Chaotix, which are called Prelates by Enerjak. And speaking of whom, he narrates during Silver's whole struggle about how Silver's arrival intrigues Enerjak because of all these mysterious powers. And, yeah. And just when you thought Silver cannot catch a break during this attack, suddenly explosions go all around Silver, reducing the prelates into balls of energy. And who are these reinforcements? Well, Bark? Fiona? What the heck? Rotor? Antoine? Bean? And Bunny? Well, yes and no. Turns out they are a new freedom fighter group consisting of alternate future versions of the members I spoke of. Except they go by the names of Dagger Walrus, Payback Fox, Blockbuster Polar Bear, Cutlass Depardo, Demo Duck, and Scarlet Rabot, or Rabot if you prefer that. And they are led by a very familiar looking female echidna. And even Silver recognizes her as Lara-Su, but of course, upon hearing that name, she loses it and threatens to slice him up. But Blockbuster calms her down, saying that she will never get information like that. And Silver's like, sorry, I thought you were a different version of, and she identifies herself as Jani-Ca. So Silver explains his story that he went into another alternate future where he met a similar Jani-Ca, and they helped fight off a water monster. You know, this water monster right here? Yeah, that's another story. Anyway, the rest of the freedom fighters think that Silver's lost his mind, but Jani-Ca believes him. Anyway, they asked how he got here, and he said he was following one of the metallic prelates through a portal, and Jenny's like, well, your mistake. This way, back to our secret base. And of course, throughout this whole conversation, Enerjak continues to overhear, and pretty much he's even more interested that Silver is from the future. So, as they travel back to base, Jani-Ca explains that the Guardian before her was very powerful. He took over the Dark Legion and absorbed a lot of chaos power. And that her and her mother were part of the initial resistance and trying to organize a freedom fighter army, and they almost took him down. And of course, as a last resort, this person, aka Enerjak, took the Chaos Emeralds and became even more powerful. And, well, he started turning people into cores. And Silver asked, what happened to Sonic? She explained, she's a core. Those balls of light that dissolve when the prelates are taken out. So, essentially, these souls, these cores that Enerjak took out of people like Remington back in the previous issue, yeah, he steals them from the victims and he uses them to create prelate warriors, these metallic warriors that fight for him. And I agree with Silver, that is sick. You're forcing you to fight old friends in such a manner. And, well, as they reach their secret base underground, Silver asks one more question. He asks, you take this, me being from a future zone, real easily. Why? Well, Jani-Ca explains that she pretty much had a similar incident by going into the past, And turns out that it wasn't where she wanted to be, and she failed to change anything. She didn't have all the facts straight. Doesn't that seem kind of familiar, Silver? And if that story sounds familiar, well, guess what? It's time for a quick history about Jani-Ca. Issues 106 through 109 of Sonic the Hedgehog contained a storyline that featured this young Echidna going back to Mobius Prime's past, and her name was Lara-Su. She's here because, well, she wants to find the one that killed her father, Knuckles, and she believes Remington did it. And of course, it is here she adapted the name Jani-Ca to, well, prevent being discovered. Okay. Anyway, as she was about to stop Remington from supposedly killing Knuckles, it turns out that Remington was only aiming at another Echidna assassin who took the shot at Knuckles. And yes, this was during that whole Green Knuckles arc saga thingy. Anyway, this incident left Lara-Su confused as to what's going on, but before she can get the facts straight, she was teleported back to her future timeline, and Knuckles was fine, by the way, well, at that moment. Anyway, when Lara-Su arrived back in her alternate future, she confronted her mother, and her mother explained that Knuckles never died. She made it all up because Knuckles went mad with power and took over the Dark Legion, and they pretty much went to stop him from taking over the world. And at the time, that was it for that story. Well, until now, that is. And as we see so far, things are not going so well. But the Freedom Fighters have a plan. They have in possession the Sword of Acorns, and they're going to use it to drain Enerjak of his power and use that power to help restore the world and the Mobians whose cores have been stolen from them. And Silver asks one more question. If the previous Guardian went mad with power and became Enerjak, that would mean that the last Guardian was Jani-Ca's, and that's when Enerjak makes his presence known. And, of course, they really shouldn't be surprised because, well, Enerjak is near omnipotent, and, yeah, their secret hiding spot, well, it's not really secret. Of course, he starts to collapse their secret lair, but Silver uses his powers to help guide them to safety after Demo blasts a hole open. And then, of course, out in the open, Enerjak grabs them, and he says that, oh, you Freedom Fighters were a fun distraction, but with the Time Traveler, I've gotten bored with you guys. Of course, Jani-Ca breaks free using the sword, and Silver pretty much powers up to break everyone else free. And Silver says, oh, we got you outnumbered, but Enerjak gloats, the armies of Gun had them surrounded, and now they're all in the bottom of the ocean. Wow, that's still dark. But, of course, since he wants to make this a quote-unquote fair fight, he released some cores and reforms the Chaotix prelates we've encountered earlier. And so while the Freedom Fighters are pretty much taking them on again, Enerjak produced one special core that's meant for Jani-Ca, and it is her mother. Yeah, twist the knife further, Enerjak. Of course, Jani-Ca, while she engages her mother's prelate, she pretty much wants Silver to help the others. So Silver's like, what should I do? Should I do this? But then he decides to use his head and go for the source. So he tosses a bit of debris at Enerjak, which he easily destroys. But it was meant as a distraction, and Silver was about to blast him, but Enerjak just swatted him away with chaos energy. And then, as the fight continues, Enerjak gloats, "You're just in time traveler, to witness my final victory over this world." And yeah, that's where the issue ends. Well, when I first read this issue, well, I was surprised that they were actually going to continue this little subplot of Lara-Su, or at least the first one's storyline, because I honestly thought they were never going to go back to that one again. But hey, that makes me like this issue already. And I am curious about these future versions of Freedom Fighter members because, well, as you can see here, Payback Fox, and pretty much the alternate future version of Bark, Blockbuster. They have metallic cybernetics on them, and yeah, and pretty much Demo Duck has an eye patch and is more serious. He's not as comical as his Prime counterpart, which makes sense. You know, for some reason, it's the old cliche of bad future makes people tougher, meaner, and grittier. But I wouldn't know. Hopefully I wouldn't know. Hopefully I will not know. And of course there's that thing of Bunny or Scarlet not having her cybernetic limbs. I mean, you know, it's a shame that it's limited to this. They're limited to this arc because it would have been nice to have a little more backstory about this world and such. But of course, this is Silver Saga, and yeah, and it's all through Silver's point of view. And here's the thing with Enerjak and this whole interest in Silver. I mean, imagine if you have all these toys you've had for who knows how long. You know, he sees the Freedom Fighters as toys. He's been playing with them for years, and then comes this brand new shiny toy, which is like nothing he has ever seen before. It's like, ooh, I want to play with that now. And he's just like, you toys, I don't want you anymore. I want him. I mean, this is the first time he's been excited in years. I'm assuming. And here's the thing. From what I've heard and read, Ian has taken elements from his fan comic Other M, and I know of it, but not know much about what it's about. I do know that it takes place in an alternate Mobius where I think an alternate version of Knuckles is reigning supreme, and he has soldiers that are called prelates. But viewers, please help clarify that, because I don't know much about that fan comic other than its reputation. So yeah, things are looking pretty grim. Will things get better? Well, they're going to get worse before they can get better, I can assure you that. But, well, we'll just see where things go from here. And yeah, so thank you for enjoying this review of Sonic Universe 26, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and I'm giving this issue an 8 out of 10. Alright, bye-bye now.